Good Wednesday morning, everybody. I am meteorologist Johnny Lively here to do our Wednesday show that is sponsored by HB Neal Construction. If you're looking at radar, there's not much to look on this morning. Thanks to Dana Simmons Real Estate Team, we can bring you the radar and the satellite imagery here. We can see that those showers and thunderstorms are towards Texas and Oklahoma along the Red River. That is going to continue pushing southward really later on this afternoon into the evening time. Even tomorrow as well, too. This is a upper level disturbance, pretty much a weak frontal boundary that's going to be pushing into our area. This is going to be giving us some really good showers and thunderstorms, not only today and into tomorrow as well, too. And we'll talk more about that here in a minute. Here's the current temperatures across the United States. Thanks to Do Good Credit Union, we can see where that front really is right now. Look at Denver, Wichita, Little Rock, Nashville, even Louisville. Notice the big temperature gradient there. We've got the 60s in Denver, Wichita, and then we get into the 70s as we get into Oklahoma, Little Rock, and Nashville. So we can see that weak front is right there into the Central Plains, slowly, gradually moving further southward. It will eventually get into our area by tomorrow, but it's not going to drop the temperatures, but it is going to bring some rain here into our area. Here locally, this is our temperatures that we have. 75 in Beaumont, 79 in Houston, and up towards the lakes is into the low 70s. Lake Charles at 77, Lafayette at 76, and down towards the coast, they are already into the low 80s. Here's our construction forecast sponsored by Modern Concrete and Material. Really not a bad day this morning, even the early afternoon, not too bad. It's not until the time we start getting off work, 4, 5, 6 p.m., we really start seeing that coverage of rain shooting up to 40% coverage. And then really by 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m., we expect that coverage to jump up to 70%. So here's our next weather maker right now. We can see Hurricane Aaron very large currently. It's going to be well offshore the East Coast, still bringing large waves, if not tropical storm force winds, to the Outer Banks. But no, over towards the Four Corners, we have a high pressure ridge bringing the flow from the north here locally. This is allowing that weak frontal boundary to push into our area the next couple of days. And as we get into Sunday, we notice that flow is still out of the north. That allows that weak frontal boundary to push into the Gulf. So in other words, rain today, rain on Thursday, and as we get into Saturday and Sunday, more drier air is going to be into our area, really setting the stage for a nice weekend. Here is what we'll be looking at moisture-wise, and this is sponsored by Neutron Electrical Services. Notice that boundary pushes southward later on today and tomorrow. High levels of moisture here into our area. As we get into late Friday and Saturday, notice that boundary pushes offshore, really setting the stage for a wonderful weekend here into our region. Might even kick out the humidity a little bit as well, too. So rain is in the forecast not only this afternoon and evening, but on Thursday as well, too. Starts dropping off on Friday as that boundary starts moving offshore. And they're really a really nice weekend here in our area. 10% coverage, nothing expected on Sunday. Even early next week, not too bad in the rain department. Here's our futurecast. Not much right now. As we start getting later on this afternoon, notice towards Livingston, College Station, Lufkin, that's where the showers and thunderstorms are located. They're going to continue moving southward, getting into our area as we get closer to that 4, 5, 6 p.m. time frame. And then we could see a pretty nice little line of showers and thunderstorms moving into the I-10 corridor from League City all the way into Beaumont, Mid-County, and parts of southwest Louisiana. This will blow through. Thing is, heat of the day, we could get some pretty decent storms that could be strong. And so there could be lots of lightning associated with these storms. 40 to 45 mile an hour wind gusts can be possible as well, too. So not going to rule out the potential for some stronger storms later on this afternoon. As we get into Thursday, we still have the moisture. We still have that weak frontal boundary continue to give us showers and thunderstorms. So you could go 60% coverage again on Thursday. So really the next 24 to 48 hours looks pretty healthy rain coverage-wise here in our area. Here's our high temperatures that we're expecting today. We'll be across the board of mid to upper 90s. This is thanks to Dana Simmons that we can show you the high temperatures later today. Overnight lows into the lakes will be into the low 70s. Lake Charles at 75. Here locally in Beaumont, 74. A little bit warmer over there in Houston and down towards the coast. They will be into the upper 70s to low 80s. Now, let's talk about the tropics because we know that we have a very large hurricane, and its name is Aaron. Aaron is very large. I would say that just looking at the satellite presence, that's probably about a 700, 800 mile wide system right now. Now, the winds are not going to be that large, but I'm just saying that the cloud cover that we're seeing from this is a large storm. Looks very similar to what Ike was a long time ago. Currently, Aaron is a Category 2 hurricane with winds of 100 miles per hour. We noticed that there's going to be a little bit of an uptick later on this afternoon into the evening times. This could get a little bit stronger. I don't think this will be a Category 3 hurricane. Biggest thing is it's going to stay well offshore the East Coast, but still going to bring impacts to the East Coast. Large waves, rip currents, land erosion, and even tropical storm force winds can be possible, if not likely, in the Outer Banks later on tonight, getting into tomorrow. And then by Thursday and Friday, this will finally start pulling away from the United States. Two areas that we're watching, not too concerned about the second area. We'll watch it later down the road, but in the short term to medium term right now, this is going to have a hard time getting organized. First area, this likely will get organized. Could be a tropical storm as we get later this week, closer to the weekend. We'll be just north of the Leeward Islands, but this looks to take a similar path as Aaron. In other words, it's going away from the Gulf, and we're not expecting any issues here in the Gulf. Here is Hurricane Aaron, a very large and powerful hurricane, still generating lots of waves, but again, still offshore, not making direct landfall in the United States. You can see Aaron goes away by Thursday and Friday, pulling away. Notice just north of the Leeward Islands in Puerto Rico as well, too. You can see that's our next area. Possibly starts becoming a tropical depression later this week, getting into the weekend, and then just pulls away from the Gulf as it lifts northward. So possibly a tropical storm as we get into early next week, if not a hurricane as we get into next week. We'll keep an eye on it, but no issue here locally here at the Gulf Coast. Here's our 7-day forecast. Rain is here today and tomorrow. That boundary will finally push off on late Friday, getting into Saturday, really setting the stage for a wonderful weekend. Even early next week doesn't look too bad. It's not until Tuesday that we start seeing a little bit better, higher coverage. So this weekend looks pretty good. Low 90s, no rain in the forecast really. Next couple of days here in southwest Louisiana, we've got the rain. Boundary pushes offshore on Saturday, setting the stage for a good weekend here as well, too, in southwest Louisiana. You guys have a wonderful Wednesday. We'll have more updates throughout the day today. And don't work too hard. Stay cool.